Hi, it's Debbie Donovan from Londonderry, New Hampshire with Be Happy Cards and Crafts. Today I'm going to show you some different coloring techniques. I usually use a lot of the blenders, but Stampin' Up! Has a whole host of coloring techniques and supplies that I tend to forget about, even though I have them. So I hope to expand your palette today with my coloring palette. It's June 1st, and believe it or not, today the demonstrators get to do our pre-order for our winter catalog, our fall winter catalog, which is also a celebration catalog. And we it just seems like we just started the annual catalog, so I'm excited. It'll go live to our customers July 1st, so you can have Christmas in July, which is exciting to get free stuff in July through January. It goes until the end of January. So let me turn you down and I'll get started to show you our stuff. Happy June. Today, like I said, is June 1st. It's not a very nice day here in New Hampshire. It's overcast and we're getting a little bit of rain, little sprinkles. So it was a really nice weekend, so I can't complain too much. So let me turn you down so you can see all the nice supplies we have. And hopefully I'll get to show you a little sample of everything in remembering. Oh, I've been having problems with my computer. Let's see. It's going to let me. It's telling me I have no internet. Hopefully the camera's still going, but it's hooked up to the computer. So let me just, it usually comes right back up. I have to call Comcast and talk to them about this. Okay, let's see if I can try to do this without internet, because my camera should be working. So here's all or some of our products that we have. Let's see, I'll start with, we have watercolor pencils. We have 2 different boxes of them. I'm going to be using the Flirty Flamingo as the main color I'm going to use because I printed some roses from the stamp set Happiness Abounds. And I printed it on 3 different types of paper, which I'll show you that. And let me just see if I can get up on the internet again. Just hopefully this whole thing tapes. That's all I say. So I can't see anybody's messages. I can't see what I'm doing. So hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing. Here's our Stampin' Write markers. Our blends come in as a set of 2 things. Okay, I'm up and running again on Stampin' Up. So let me get over here. Okay. These are our spritzes. This one is filled with rich raspberry and alcohol instead of water because I wanted it alcohol-based, because these are alcohol-based, are Stampin' Blends. Then we have a blender pen, which is a stamping blender pen, which you can do with a few different things. We have our Wink of Stella, which you can do different techniques with. These are our water pens. They come in a set of 3. Our blending brush. I forgot what it's called. It's called a blending brush. Daubers, they fit on your finger. They work great. And if you are going to a crop or a stamping event and you're only bringing a few, great way to travel with them is a pill box, a large one, not the smaller ones, but they fit perfectly inside a pill box. I learned that years ago. I have a large box that holds mine because I have them all. I cut a piece of tape with the color on them so I can reuse them. Our ink can be used several different ways. We have a stencil that you can use with the blending brush. Our blocks can be used as coloring tools, which I will show you. So, the 3 types of paper. There are actually 4 types of paper. Our regular basic white, and we also have a thick basic white. This is the shimmery white. If you can see a little bit of shimmer in it, it has a little sparkle. This is good to use for any of your water products. This is not good for the water products, but I will show you some things on the water with the water products today. And then we have our watercolor paper, typical watercolor paper for watercolor techniques. So let's get started with coloring. I'll show you using the regular basic white, and I'm going to show you just using the colored pencil, how you don't have to be really precise. You don't have to get that close to the edges. And then you can, sorry about my voice, my allergies are acting up. Use a blender pen, which is just an alcohol-based pen. And it's just a clear pen, but it'll blend your color for you so that you can go to the edges. In the darker areas, I colored darker here. This is not a good paper to use it on because it is alcohol. And so you can use it in smaller spots, but if you keep going over the same spot, you'll see, I'll do it over here, you'll see how the paper just will tear up. But if you use it on the watercolor paper, I'll just do one little leaf. get a nice color. And it doesn't tear the paper. Now, still using this pencil, watercolor pencil. You can use, I want to just find the small one, the water painters. I didn't get them wet yet. These are brand new, so I haven't used them yet. I need to get the water down to the tip. Here we go. So I think I got a little too much down, but I can wipe it off. Just dab it, which took most of the color off, but it's a little too wet, so it's okay, because now we have a prettier shade. It's very wet. Gonna have to dab it again because it's just too wet. So this is my third time going over it, and it's not. And I'll try just using the water pencil. And you can see it didn't affect the paper at all, doing it 3 times over it. So one more thing with this. I'll do this little one. Oh, it's gonna, I guess you can do several colors with several spots with it. Get over to a different leaf. I haven't used watercolor paper for a long time, so now this is the Wink of Stella. And you can use this to blend in your color. And you'll get a beautiful sparkle to it at the same time. Now these 3 techniques, using the blender pen, the watering brushes, and the, bring it up to the camera so hopefully you can get a better view of, this was the blender pen, this was 3 tries with the watercolor, and this is the blender pen. And this is just using the colored pencil. Now, I want to show you the difference on, go to this. This is the shimmering paper. So on the shimmering paper, you can use the pencils. You can do pretty much everything that I just did, but I want to show you if you use a marker. Here I'm using a marker to color in this leaf. And I'll color in this leaf. This is the same color, Flirty Flamingo. And our Stampin' Write markers are not really made to color in large areas, as you can see, because you can see all the coloring marks on them. Now, if you take the Wink of Stella and go over it, it'll cover up some of that. And then with my little blender brush over here. And it'll color it in a little bit. They're made more for smaller spaces. So Stampin' Up, because you can see the lines back and forth. So Stampin' Up came out with these great blender pens, which come in a two color set, a light and a dark shade. So on the same flower, I'm going to go and use, and these are alcohol based. This is water based. You can refill the Stampin' Write markers with the re-inkers. However, you cannot refill these Stampin' Blends because they're alcohol based. And our re-inkers are water based because our and see how smooth they go on. They do need, however, to have something under them because they will bleed through. So that's the light shade. And then usually you want to go in on the darker areas and even the edges. You can do, it's bleeding through a little bit on this paper, to do some shading. And you let that dry a little bit, just for time's sake. And then you go back over it with the light, just to blend it in. That's why they're called blender pens. So you get a lot more dimension. So you can see all the same coloring on the same flower. Now the other thing is, if you squeeze your ink pad, it's called burping the ink pad. Well, my hands are not good, so I'm going to try to do this. Let's see. It's supposed to get color, there we go, color onto the cover. So you can take the blender pen and you can use it to color it in, which is a method I don't like because I like these blender pens the best. And to clean these, you just go until you don't see any color anymore. but I'm using the same color today, so I'm okay. I'll be cleaning everything up after the video. And here's the Wink of Stella, giving us some color. Some glitter. I'm a glitter girl, so I'm happy with anything that glitters. So everybody knows Debbie likes glitter. So I don't mind taking the time and coloring it in with the Wink of Stella, and same thing. You can color, you do to clean your pen. You just go back and forth. So here we have the regular marker. Then no, this was the regular marker down here. This was the regular marker using a blender, Wink of Stella pen. This was the blends. They did bleed outside the edge a little because I went too close to the edge. This was using a blender pen here and just the ink. And then this was using the Wink of Stella and the ink, and it sparkles. So hopefully you get to see the sparkle. So this is that paper. So I've showed you the 3 papers and the 3 different techniques of using the colors. Now, oh yes, I wanted to show you this. So we'll close up. And the color can stay in the lid. It doesn't dry out. It's fine. This is a dauber. It makes perfect dots. This is not a dark. This is my... So if you want to make dots, polka dots on for a background. But also, if you use the side of your brush, you can just color in the flower. Using your dauber pen. It's quick, it's easy, it's a different technique. And you don't have to, it's a little dark where I started, but it just shows you another way to use a coloring technique. But if you do want to make polka dots for your background, looks great. It looks great on colored paper, which I didn't bring any scraps out. And these, like I said, I just name them. I just put a label on them, what the color is. And then I have a name. So let's move on to, I will just choose the back of this. This is our stencils. And our blending brush. Make sure we get color. Usually you tape them down, so you might not have got the right. This is our new in color Parakeet Party. I love the name of it. So it'll be a little shadow, different colors. Same thing. You rub them until you don't have a color, but I'll do that after. But it moved a little bit. But you can see the pretty vines in the different, right here is a little messy where it moved, but the different shades that it makes. So it makes a good background to stamp a flower on or something. Now, I want to take, we're running out of time here, so I want to do 2 more techniques. I'm going to do that one. And this one's a little messy, so just move things out of the way. This is a spritzer, and I have a lot of them. And you have to make sure that your little hole is going the right way, otherwise you're in trouble. But you just spritz your paper. I can smell the alcohol. And you get a nice, unique background. You can do it with other colors, to mix other colors in, or you can just do it with one color. And this actually will probably work with the card. And of course I did get some on my fingers. All the work I've done, and I've got it on this last one on my fingers. So the one other card I want to show you going to neat this out. I want to use the glimmer paper. I've used this technique for years and I always forget to use it. Recently, I haven't been using it, but I used it years ago. Yes. Do the blue first. Now you just take one of your blocks, and I cut these at 4 by 5 1/4, which is the size to make a card, because I have my MISTI set up to make to stamp a card. And all you're doing is you're covering your block with the color. There's a line on my block, so there's going to be lines on this, and I felt it go crooked, but that's okay. It's the paper towel, I want the wet. So that's Balmy Blue. It's hard to do these videos and get the cards perfect when you're not looking at them. I'd normally have my head in right over it. Now this color is Pear Pizzazz. Same thing. Ink it up. You don't have to push down on the ink. I'm just getting the ink, and I can't really see where the edges are very well, but this one I can tell is going to have some dots in it, which is what the true nature is of doing this. It gives you a different textures. Okay. And then this one is Sahara Sand. And I will be making these after the video. I'll make them, because I don't like the video to run that long. They all came out darker than I expected. I could have stamped off, but it would have taken away from the color. Not too bad for not having it over my head. So now, what I would do is I would bring in my stamp from Quiet Meadow. And I have it all set up here, so I just have to put the stamp, the card, I mean, not the stamp. I don't know where the card's gonna go, so. Buried my black. So I'm going to do a black image. And it looks like it's going to hit perfectly over here, because I want this to be a sympathy card. And I'll show you these cards all made up next week. It's a new stamp. I haven't used it yet, so I'm trying to, I re-inked my black, so it should be nice. But let's see. I might have to do a couple. Yeah. That's a great thing about having Stamparatus or Misty's. This I have to do probably several of them, because the ink came out so dark. I have several layers of paper because I knew I was going to spray. I didn't want to get underneath here, and it's making it slide all over the place. I think one more time will make it nice. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing all the different techniques and you try some of them on your cards. I'd love to see your cards. Yeah, I think I want to do one more last one. Just because the flowers had like a little darker. The leaves are fine down there, but I want the flowers a little darker. And I'm not going to color the flowers. I'm just going to put some ribbon and I'll put with sympathy on it. Okay. So I'll choose one of these colors, probably the Pear Pizzazz, because it's the middle color. But here's this card, a closer view of it. Trying to see, holding it up, okay. And I'll use some twine, and that's probably where the tag will go. Because I touched it and it got a little spot. But I'll put some twine and then a little thing that says with sympathy. And it'll be a very simple card. And this card can be used for anything. And the color came out to look like, I don't know if Flirty Flamingo will match it. It might, which is the colors I was using today. But to me it looks like Rococo Rose, so I might have to use an old color for the card, which I'm okay with. And if I pull this off, oh, just let me leave that for a second. I'm gonna do Thinking of You. I haven't used this stamp set yet, so I don't have my things on here, but I'm going to put Thinking of You, and I love these dots. I think the dots perfectly match the card where it's sprayed. So I'm going to take this off, and I'll wash that off after. Because you don't have to have the picture of we have to put our labels on. You don't have to. A lot of people don't put their labels on, and I don't know how they can stand that. I have OCD, and it would drive me crazy not to be able to. I think my thinking of you is a little crooked anyways. I know that it's messy. But it would drive me crazy if I couldn't have my labels. Thinking of you looks good. My dots, they look good. Oh, the thunder I can hear in the background. The little dots, they're so cute. And I'm going to pull them off because I think they came out good with one generation, but my thinking of you needs to be darker. One more time. Again, it's just because my hands I ruined them. For 35 years I did sewing and as a business, and I did a lot of hand beading, and I had carpal tunnel surgery, and what the doctor said, I ruined my hands, the use of my hands, but I can still stamp, and I make wreaths, and it's just I have arthritis in them now, and so it takes me a couple times to do this pressing down. They're not as strong as they could be. Might only take you one time to do it, but so here's the second card, Thinking of You. I think that's a really pretty card. So I'm going to turn you up, and then you'll be able to see both cards. Still backwards, but hi, Denise. So hopefully I won't just wipe my hands. I've got ink on them, so. So I hope you learned some new techniques on coloring, that you don't always have to do the same thing. And here's the one card. I really like that card, very simple. I was just using the spritzer and spraying it. And then this one, which I'll turn into a sympathy card, because I had that in mind when I had the whole card planned out in my head already. So it's nice to see everybody, and hopefully I'll get to get these cards done for you so that I'll show you next week the cards, and I'll put them out on the desk so I don't forget to show you. And then I hope you enjoy the rest of the day and the first day of June. Love the colors, Denise. I do too. I know here in New Hampshire and Londonderry it's raining, so we're getting a thunderstorm. Hi, Cecile. And then, but like I said, we had a beautiful weekend, so can't complain. My daughter did a lot of yard work, and it looks awesome. She's working in our pool area and in our front garden. So we decided not to plant a vegetable garden this year and just concentrate on what we have and fix it up and make it nice looking, and it's going to be great. So Denise, you can come over and we'll just float in the pool. Now, in the tiki bar. She's making a tiki bar. So I'll see you next week. Bye.